Welcome to the Jehovih Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
Create a gang is crazy. Boy, y'all better pay attention.
We fight as a single, impenetrable unit. That is the source of our strength.
Right back like I left something. Your hostess with the mostest, holding that fire like a roach clip. Cutting them. Cosmon just checking back in, man. Hey, just coming with another build. You dig what I'm saying? Just linking in some of this new information and some of this old stuff, and taking a re-look at it. You dig what I'm saying? Because we looked at the brother, earlier this year. We was looking at what's his name? Terrence Howard. He was, he was all in the news and people was trying to debunk him. We gave him a fair shot. You dig what I'm saying? But we was looking at his work, and some of the claims he was making was pseudo and it was fake, and he didn't have to make them, and it brought down the believability of what he was actually doing. And I still salute him for what he was bringing forth, but the extra cap wasn't needed. The information he was bringing forth alone was astounding. You know what I mean? But when you add in these other things, you did what I'm talking about, that allow people to pick holes into your ideology because you trying to add some extra stuff on to it. You dig what I'm saying? He kind of, he didn't build this. He had great ideas. You dig what I'm talking about? Great. But how he was approaching it, you know what I mean? It lacked a little bit. You dig what I'm saying? But shout out to that brother. But while I was doing that, and while we was looking at this information, I noticed whose information he was really using to try to prove the points that he was making. And a lot of that work comes from this brother right here, Walter Russell. Right now, for those who've been, around the gang, well, first of all, all praise to the Most High. You dig what I'm talking about? Love, life, balance out there. Peace to the gang. You dig what I'm talking about? Thank everybody for coming through. Wipe your feet. You dig what I'm talking about? Thumb up the video. It's free. It don't even cost you nothing. Thumb up the video. Share it out to your Facebook, to your IG, to your TikTok. Make videos. Do whatever you're gonna do with it. But share the live. You dig what I'm talking about? If you don't do nothing, thumb the video up, share the live, won't cost you anything. Right? And we were looking at Terrence Howard's work, and much of his work was based on the actual work of Dr. Walter Russell. Now, when you get to reading OAHSPE and you've been in it for a while and you start to catch the little vibe, and there's a certain lingo, a certain vibe, a way you start to look at things kind of, and it starts to be expressed in your life. Like you're going to start, you're going to start talking about spiraling vortexian things. You dig what I'm talking about? Etherian and expansion and condension or fission and fusion, centripetal. You're going to say things like higher heavens, etheric, atmospheric. You're going to, there's a certain word usage that comes with OAHSPE and a certain type of understanding of higher light. Right now, with that, you can kind of tell who's coming with the higher light, but also a lack of that also shows that one, they wasn't in touch with this. And the inspiration, even though it is still a dead giveaway when you start talking about vortexian spiraling galaxies and talking about chemicals and that haven't been found, and electromagnetivity and atoms and electrons and fundamental nature of creation and cymatics and ether. When you get this, there's a certain way it looks and a certain way it sounds, and when you see it, the creator. It's hard to miss. Like, for anybody just looking at this picture right here, you dig what I'm talking about? For those who understand what's going on in creation, there's a definite sign of creation and creator right on the screen. Look at the picture of Walter Russell. Where would I possibly be talking about, y'all? Of course, spiraling vortexes that produce the earth that he's pointing at. See that? Let me see who up in here real quick. Let me see if I can throw on some music real quick. You dig what I'm saying? Just we'll just bump it low. Just cook real quick and get up out of here. You dig what I'm talking about? Tahunga. What up, dog? Kila. My brother D up in this thing, man. Peace and blessings, man. Love and light out there, man. Southeast Asia, living it up, doing good, man. Peace to you, the wifey, the fam, the new grandbaby, all that, man. Love and light to you. Shout out to my sister Kila and my nephews. You dig what I'm talking about? My nephews all over there. Doug, and you dig what I'm talking about? Uncle Cosmon. Love you. Yes, indeed. We out here. We out here, sir. That's right. You dig what I'm talking about? We ain't going back in the box neither. Shout out to my brother Johnny James, man. Listen, this is what they don't want. Y'all go over there to my younger brother. You dig what I'm talking about? Mikey of the Turtle Gang. You dig what I'm talking about? Y'all go over there and sub, like, share to my brother channel. Honor and Humility, STL Malachi, Maccabee, Megaton, Light Bomb. You dig what I'm talking about? That's right, abundant light. You dig what I'm saying? There's like a telltaleness that comes with understanding the creator, a way of thinking, a way of looking, a way of talking. You dig what I'm talking about? And it kind of permeates your whole being. You dig what I'm talking about? And once you see it and you hear it, let me turn it down a little bit. Once you see it and you hear it, you can't unsee it. You can't unhear it. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to my brother BC. Yafa up in this thing. Elisa Edwards up in this thing. Thank you all, family, for coming through, man. Thumb up the video, share the love, and support the live, man. Let's get into Dr. Walter Russell, right? And his amazing connections with the creator and OAHSPE, man. Listen, when you see it, you can't unsee it. You dig what I'm talking about? We're going to get into this. This is Jehovah Chronicles, number 225. Jehovah Chronicles, number 225. The universal one. Let's get it. Let's cook early in the morning.
Walter Russell believed that everything is light. This can be linked directly with the equation energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Light will radiate out in all directions, forming a sphere and the 3 dimensions of our everyday life. All we have to do is place the Lorentz contraction of space and time between the energy and mass. The greater the energy, the greater the contraction of space, and the slower time will run. Mass will increase relative to this, and each reference frame can be seen as a vortex in space and time. The brackets represent the boundary condition of the reference. Mass will increase relative to this, and each reference frame can be seen as a vortex in space and time. The brackets represent the boundary condition of the reference frame formed by the energy, and the infinity symbol represents an infinite number of reference frames that make up our universe. Walter Russell's theories on the universe are very beautiful. His ideas and diagrams represent an alternative to mainstream physics. His idea that we should think of matter as motion with what he calls retarded time, which lengthens its periods in a ratio in which matter appears, is very profound and similar to the time dilation.
Or another way to say that would be that gravity is no motion or tends to retard or try to stop motion. Let's cook.
In Einstein's relativity. Could both men be trying to explain the same dynamic process, but using different words, explaining it in different ways? Walter Russell's vision of a cosmos based upon twin opposing electromagnetic vortexes is a very elegant theory. But could Walter Russell's electromagnetic vortexes be the same space-time vortex that NASA Gravity Probe B found around the Earth? Mainstream physics has used NASA's Gravity Probe B to confirm the correctness of relativity, but they have no understanding of how this space-time vortex is formed. Relativity.
You see how far ahead of the game you are? They have no idea how the vortex is formed. They know it's there, right? It's been found. They don't know how it starts. And create a good.
Is very elegant, but it only explains the geometry or curvature of space-time, but it does not explain how the gravity is formed.
Right.
Only a deeper understanding of time and how it is formed could answer this question. The rest of this video explains a theory on how objects slow the rate that time flows relative to their own energy or momentum, forming their own time or space-time, therefore creating their own future uncertainty within their own reference frame. Walter Russell's vision of a twin opposing electromagnetic vortex could be here seen as a vortex between the future and the past, within a process of continuous creation. This theory is based on Einstein's theories of relativity and a deeper understanding of quantum physics, but I believe anyone who has studied Walter Russell's work will find a deep similarity, for it explains a creative process on a level with the destructive process of atomic physics.
Now, what you got to understand is with E equals mc squared, or what they're calling atomic physics, it explains how the radiative force moves outward, right? It explains how it expands, but they can't explain how it condenses, right? They explain it the best way they know how, with fission and fusion, condensing and contracting, but they still don't know the initial starting point. What creates it? They ain't got this far yet. Let's go.
In this theory, the quantum of quantum mechanics is a unit of energy that we see and feel as the flow of time itself. Time is continuously being formed, photon by photon, by the spontaneous absorption and emission of light waves of electromagnetic radiation, a process of continuous change, continuous energy exchange, forming the future uncertainty of everyday life. This uncertainty can be seen mathematically as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle of quantum physics. This might sound mad, but the probability function that forms the uncertainty principle also forms the movement of electric charge, forming the flow of electric current with electrical potential. In this theory, electrical potential and the individual's future potential are the same within their own reference frame. The most advanced part of this universal process is in the form of electrical activity in the brain, being able to comprehend and measure this process as the flow of time with a past and uncertain future. This process is totally universal and interactive, from the largest object to the smallest creature, right down to the smallest element of the periodic table.
So, from the greatest expanse of the universe to our solar system, down the planets, down to the micro makeup of the universe, we see the same spiraling vortexian pattern, right? Also known as Fibonacci spiral, right? This gives us a concept of oneness and unity. What does it say down here? Energy and momentum slows the rate that time flows, forming a curvature of space-time relative to its own energy within each individual reference frame. This is space-time, y'all. This is what is called an arc. Uh-oh, come on, Cosmo. You gonna cook this early in the morning?
This creature, right down to the smallest element of the periodic table, will slow the rate that time flows, forming a curvature of space-time relative to its own energy or mass. If our eyes were more sensitive to the different wavelengths of light, we would be able to see that everything is radiating electromagnetic light waves continuously.
Huh? How many times Thela done told y'all about the electromagnetic spectrum? The ability to see above and below the visible light spectrum, right? Right there is where your higher beings exist in plus 700 nanometers of light, and which is called gamma, or less than 350 nanometers of light, which is called X-ray. These are the places that the spirits of the lower and higher realms dwell. If you could see into the X-ray spectrum, you would see things around you. This is what happened with the when the United States, when they went into Korea in World War I, they had created these tinted glasses that allow people allowed them to see the spirit world around them on the lower realm and freaked them out. You dig what I'm saying? So they explain it through Walter Russell's theories, and which later came to be proved that the body is giving off radiation, electromagnetism, and other things. You dig what I'm talking about? Pure light. You see what I'm saying? So let's not act like the brother wasn't on point when he was saying what he was saying.
This forms a great dance of energy exchange, forming a process of spontaneous and continuous change that we see and feel as the aging process and as the flow of time itself. In this theory, gravity is a secondary force to the electromagnetic force. Objects just free fall towards the greatest mass or energy because it has the slowest rate that time flows. The second law of thermodynamics falls out of this theory. The organization for the spontaneous disorganization of entropy is formed by the spherical symmetry of the quantum wave particle function. The spontaneous absorption and emission of light forms the flow of time, with photon energy cascading down, forming greater degrees of freedom for the flow of entropy. We have an infinite number of reference frames within our universe, and because light has momentum, and momentum is frame dependent, each object or observer will have their own reference frame with their own future uncertainty as time unfolds, photon by photon. Therefore, an observer can look back in time at the beauty of the stars in all directions from the center of their own reference frame. This is because they are forming their own space-time by collapsing the waves of light into new photon oscillations, forming their own future potential. An artist will take energy and time to create a work of art because the atoms of the hand and eye have bonded together, forming the movement of electric charge, creating their own potential future. Creation is truly in the hand and eye of the beholder in this theory.
Interesting. You dig what I'm talking about? Let's get to cooking, though. Right? This is the book, The Universal One, by Walter Russell, 1926. You can always get the vibe of a man by his works and what he written. You dig what I'm talking about? You don't even necessarily have to know him, but you can get a sense. This is called the Vortexian record, right? The same thing that's left in your DNA or genetics, right? That the light in your genetics reads as code, right? That same thing is left in the writings of the ancients and anyone who writes, period, right? A piece of them, a sense of them is left in the record, right? And it is did with this same power that or sense that humans gain the ability to read books without opening them, right? Read a book without ever opening the pages, sensing the man and the words and the vortex here through the page, right? That's a form of prophecy, right? What common man would misunderstand as instinct is actually a form of prophecy. But let's get into this. This is the Universal One, right? Perfect name. for this topic. This is the universal one. We know that there's the only one, one creator, one source, right? The all that was, is, and ever shall be, you know? But let's get into some of this real quick. And let's get into some of the ideas that, or see what Walter Russell was on, right? Some of his works. This is the prelude to the universal one. We'll probably dip into it a little bit, but I wanted to get into the ideal, right? And see the man that we're dealing with. It says, the supreme service which man can render to evolving man is to answer for him dynamically the great heretofore unanswerable question concerning the one universal force which man calls God or mind, or by other names. For long ages, man has impatiently awaited the knowledge which would tear away the veil from the invisible universe which lies beyond his perception and bring it within the range of both his perception and his exact comprehension. Mathematical and measurable proof of the existence of but one mind, one force, and one substance. Huh? Y'all know Cosmo agree with this. How many times I done told y'all there's only one force? Huh? We know that force as vortex or spin. Huh? And all forces, whether you call it electricity, magnetism, light, gravity, are only different variations of the same vortexian force acting upon different corporeal materials moving at different places at different times. Or even all at one time. Because not only is there one mind, one force, and one substance, right? This substance acted upon by this one force creates and gives control over matter. The question was asked today by my young brother, right? And he tried his best to explain this. Well, how do you make water, right? Why we know exactly how to create water. You take one part of oxygen and add 2 parts of hydrogen to it. Well, why can't you combine them? Huh? What force is used to combine 1 part of oxygen to 2 parts of hydrogen? Why can't you do it by yourself? Because you're not using the one force, huh? Or the one substance. What is the substance? They don't. He tried to explain it the best that he could, but ether is what allows, first of all, allows chemicals to move, but also allows them to combine and interconnect. Quantum science and physical science tries to explain this as a fluon, right? This energy that allows one to attract one into the other. This force, this one substance, is known as ether. Science tried to write the one substance out. Ether is what allows one part of oxygen to combine with 2 parts of hydrogen. It's the thing that is outside and within and without. You dig what I'm saying? All through it, and allows it to exist, to combine. It's ether. It is the medium. Mathematical and measurable proof of the existence of but one mind, one force, and one substance would give to man absolute control over matter, the power to create, even as God creates, and within the same limitations. Man is omnipotent when he but knows his omnipotence. Until that day, he is but man. Ooh-wee. Jehovah said, you should master all things below you. That is to take steps towards the what? The Godhead of man knowing his omnipotence. Voltaire said that man could never comprehend God, for man must be God to comprehend him. Well, Voltaire was half right when he told you that man could never comprehend God, for man must be God. Voltaire didn't obviously know that every God was a once living, breathing man or woman on earth, right? But Walter Russell checks him. He says man is God, and therefore God is within the comprehension of man. Come on, Walter Russell was talking in 1926. He talking about one mind. He calling it God, but he also gives props to the great creator. Man is God and therefore God is within the comprehension of man. It's correct. Man is mind. Man is matter. Man and matter are one. Mind and matter are one, excuse me. And God is mind. This is a universe of mind, a finite universe, limited to a cause and to the effect of cause. A universe of limitations cannot be infinite. Let me repeat that again. A universe of limitations cannot be infinite. There is no infinite universe. A finite universe in which the effects and cause are limited must also be limited as to cause. So when that measurable cause is known, then man can comprehend and measure all effects. Look how far you are ahead of the game. Must also be limited as to cause. So when that measurable cause, when that vortex is known, then man can comprehend and measure all effects. Check. The effects of cause are complex and mystify man, but cause itself is because itself is simple. The effects of cause are complex and mystify man because itself is simple. Okay. The universe is a multiplicity of changing effects, but one unchanging cause. Ooh. All things are universal. Y'all agree with that? All things are universal. Are all things one? Oh, wait. Let me pull this up real quick. Are all things one? Let me share this with y'all. Are all things one? Let's go. Let's clear it up with some OAHSPE. Book of Jehovah. Let me blow it up just a little bit more so y'all can see it. Book of Jehovah. Chapter 1 and 1. What it say? I'm asking the question, are all things one? Right? Let me go. Oh, my bad. Man, my mouse tripping. Man, my mouse is tripping. All right. Check this out. Is all one? Remember, let's go back and look what this brother said. Let's go back and look what this brother said. He said the universe is a multiplicity of changing effects. Oh, let me go back. Of changing effects, but of one unchanging cause. Huh? What is that one unchanging cause? Book of Jehovah. All was, all is, all shall ever be, and the all spoken motion was and is and ever shall be. And being positive as in energy, as in light, as in magnetism, as in energetic force, as in going forward, as in being positive, was called he and him. This is why y'all always say God, he, him, he over here, he did this. You dig what I'm talking about? This is why you say that all the time. But because the creator was always known as the all positive force, the unseen cause. The all speech was his motion. He said, I am, and comprehended all things. What? The seen and the unseen. He said, what did he say? Once again, let's blow it up. He said the universe is a multiplicity. He said the effects of cause are complex and mystified because it is simple itself. But the universe is a multiplicity of changing effects. What Jaja say? He said, and he comprehended all, the seen and the unseen, nor is there anything in all the universe that is not part of him. He said, I am the soul of all, and all that is seen is part of my body. By virtue of my presence, all things are. By virtue of my presence, life is. By virtue of my presence, the living are brought forth into life. I am the quickener, the mover, the creator, destroyer. I am first and last. I am two apparent entities. Said I'm a multiplicity. Nevertheless, I am only one. The cause. He says, he explains, he is the cause. By virtue of what? His presence. That means simply for the fact that he is there, things happen. If he wasn't there, nothing would happen. For the fact that he is there, everything happens. He's saying he is the all cause. He says, all things are by virtue of my presence, because I am there, all things are. By virtue of my presence, life is. I am the cause by virtue of my presence. I am the cause that the living are brought forth into life. I am apparent to entities. I look like I'm two things. Something you can see, something you can't see. Right? Nevertheless, I am only one. I am the cause of all causes. He says what? The entities are the unseen, which is potent. The stuff that you can't see is powerful. And the stuff that you can see is impotent, right? And we call that the physical. So don't you have something that's unseen in your body that runs it? They call it spirit, they call it soul, they call it force, they call it energy. You can't see it. But that's the potent part of you. That's the mind. That's the thing that thinks. That's the thing that feels. The seen, your physical body, is called your corporeal or your physical part. But I am apparent. I look like I'm more than one thing. But nevertheless, I am only one. Walter Russell is cooking early in the morning with that good soul food and seasoning. You dig what I'm talking about? This white boy got some seasoning on his food, right? He giving you good soul food. Huh? He said, all things are universal. Huh? All is one. Huh? He said, I am apparent that it looked like I'm two things, but all things are universal. There is nothing which is not one. All. Nothing is of itself alone. Man and mind and all creating things are universal. No man can say, I alone am I. There is but one universe, one mind, one force, one substance. When man knows this in measurable exactness, then will he have no limitations within those which are universal. He will then know that all knowledge exists within man, and is subject to his desire to recall it from within his inner mind. To recall it, wait a minute, if I'm thinking up something that ain't never been thought, how am I recall? Oh, don't they always tell you ain't nothing new under the sun? Let that sink in a second. Knowledge is not acquired from without, but merely recollected from within. Ooh, knowledge is not acquired from without, but merely recollected from within. Fire. If you know that's true, hit me with a 1 in the chat. This brother cooking early in the morning. He must have had his cushion coffee. This brother said, what? Knowledge is not acquired from without, but merely recollected from within. The recollection of knowledge from within is an electromagnetic process of thinking mind, which is exactly under man's control as is the generation of the same power to turn a wheel. Interesting. Let's go. Let's see what he got to say. Man must think in light. His thinking must be in terms of the electromagnetic periodicities, which measure all motion. For of such is he himself and nothing else. To know how to think in light from within is to open the doors of all knowledge. Omnipotence lies in perfect thinking. There is no power in this universe other than the energy of thinking mind. Thinking is the cause of motion, and the periodicities or the states of motion caused by thinking mind are registered in light, which man calls matter. Ooh, fire. Let's read that again. Thinking is the cause of motion, and the periodicities or states of motion caused by thinking mind are registered in light, which man calls matter. Matter is light. Nothing is which is not light. This will be the electromagnetic spectrum. We are prone to think that this civilization of ours is an extremely advanced one. On the contrary, man of today is an exceedingly primitive state of his evolution. He is a bearer of heavy burdens, sweating at heavy labor in the bowels of the earth because of his pitiful ignorance of universal power, which awaits only his knowledge to render it available for free use. Knowledge of the one thing will lift the yoke which man has placed on his own shoulders. This knowledge is here. We know what that knowledge is. If y'all know what that knowledge is, you dig what I'm talking about, hit me with some vortexes in the chat. The knowledge of the one thing. What one thing? Hit me with some vortexes in the chat if you know what that one thing is. Drop it in the chat. Hit me with some vortexes and drop me the name of the knowledge of that one thing that will lift the yoke which man has placed upon his own shoulders. You know what faith is. Drop it in the chat with some vortex. This knowledge is herein written down in the language of a new dynamic science, of new concepts which are measurable, which explain the heretofore unexplainable. Language is lacking in words to express new knowledge. Seemingly contradictory words must be used in the hope that the intent will be understood by taking all that is herein written and putting it together, rather than in trying to find comprehension through the analysis of a few inadequate words in isolated paragraphs. For all those questions which lie unanswered within the heart of man, there is a dynamic answer. Such an answer as 2 and 2 make 4. He's saying it's as easy as A, B, C, and as 1, 2, 3. Well, I got to agree with him. Why? Because right here on the cover, OAHSPE say it is a practical guidebook to the spiritual life. That thing you can't see, written in modern American English. So I got to kind of, I get where he's coming from with that, right? Let's blow this up again. Let's blow this up again. Here we go. It says, knowledge of the one thing will lift the yoke which man has placed on his own shoulders. This knowledge is herein written down in the language of a new dynamic science, of new concepts which are measurable and which explain the heretofore unexplainable. Right? For all those questions which lie unanswered within the heart of man, there is a dynamic answer such an answer as 2 and 2 make 4. faith and theory regarding the universal one need have no place in the thinking of man. They are wanderings in the dark. All things are answerable in light. The universe is a tonal one, a dimensionless universe of light. All nature is a series of orderly tonal periodices or arcs. Let me read it back. All nature is a series of orderly tonal arcs of the one force, or times, sound times, tonal, sound times of the one force, assembled into a complex idea of thinking mind and registered in light or matter or energy in interchanging potentials, all of which are variable yet comprehensible and measurable states of motion of the one substance. All dimension is an illusion, an appearance due to rising potential, which must disappear into its inevitable sequence of lowering potential, and again appear in endless cycles of appearance, disappearance, and reappearance. Ecstatic man is he who can think in those high octaves of inner mind, which has been termed spirit. Oh man, I've been cooking all that goddamn time, and the mic been off. When did I stop? When did I? I've been cooking that whole time, and y'all didn't hear nothing. Man, that's crazy. How did I? Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I must have tapped the button. Right. Well, let me go back and show you what the brother is saying. Right. Look what the brother just said. Let me blow it up for you. Right. Let me show you. When man can change the low speed of his thinking in this universe of dimension to the high speed of his inner thinking, where dimension disappears in light, then he is Superman. Huh? Let me read it back for you one more time. Make it make sense for you. When man can change the low speed of his objective thinking in this universe of dimension to the high speed of his inner thinking, his intelligence, his comprehension, his imagination. When man can switch to the higher speed of his inner thinking, of his imagination, where dimensions disappear in light, then he is Cosmon. Cosmon meaning balance, high spirituality, high physicality, all at once. And then, and only then, is he universal genius. No, he's not. He's tapped in to the universal genius. Light is the universal language in which the divine concept is plainly written. Does anybody want to deny this? If you think light is not the universal language, hit me with a 2 in the chat. And then tell me what you think the universal language is. Do we not say love and light? I say they're the same thing. Light is the universal language in which the divine concept is plainly written. When you look at the sun, what does it give off? When you look at the moon, what does it give off? Can you look at anything without light? Light is the universal language and proof of its opposite, right? You wouldn't know dark without light. You wouldn't know light without dark. Fundamentally wrong in its premises and wasteful in its practices, man's modern concept of the universe must be torn down and built again on truth that's plainly told in light. Primitive in his concepts. This is why we got a new cosmogony. There's only 2 in the world. We tearing the old one down. You see how easily we whooped Kemet. And they was using that old cosmology. Using that old fundamental basic premise. Primitive in his concepts. Man divides the universe into the seen and the unseen. The what? He divides it into what? Seen and unseen. And then finds himself groping in the dark, blindfolded, hopelessly trying to find the way to the door of the holies of holies. How is this even in there? primitive in his concepts, man, what? Divides the universe into the seen and the unseen. Wait a minute. Didn't Jaja just tell you? I am two apparent entities. Nevertheless, I am only one. These entities are the seen and the unseen. I ain't make that up. I didn't write this in 1881. You're just making it up, Cosmon. You just added that in there in 1881. Well, no, wait a minute. You added it right here to Walter Russell's text in 1927. Yeah, you did that, Cosmon. I didn't make this up. Huh? And when you don't know that the Creator is all things seen and unseen, what do you find yourself? Where do you find yourself? Groping in the dark, blindfolded, hopelessly, trying to find the Holy of Holies. Look at that. There is no unseen universe. The way to that innermost sanctuary of the Most High is as clearly posted as the Lincoln Highway. But man has not been able to read the plainly worded messages written all along the way in light. Oh, wait a minute. That reminds me of something. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. That's reminding me of something in the there is no unseen universe. The way to that innermost sanctuary of the Most High is as clearly posted as the Lincoln Highway, but man has not been able to read the plainly worded messages written all along the way in life. Man's most wonderful of instruments, the spectroscope, has told him little, for he has not yet learned to read it. They still have it today. They still think Saturn is mostly gas, or that the sun is mostly helium, right? Because they haven't learned to read it, right? So they don't understand that they're not even looking at or reading the let's say they're looking at the moon, right? You're not even really reading what's going on the moon itself. You're through the light or spectroscopy of the moon itself, the light it gives off itself. The spectroscope reads that and takes that into account on the way to the moon. So it's reading what's in front of the moon, right? So if it's high carbon one day, it's gonna say it's carbon, right? You look 10 years later, it's gonna say it's nitrogen. If it's nitrogen gas is passing in front of it. If it's helium gas is passing in front of them, it's going to say it's helium. You dig what I'm saying? They haven't learned to read the spectroscope yet. You see how far the Creator puts you ahead of the game? Learning that all one thing, man's most wonderful of instruments, the spectroscope, has told him little, for he has not yet learned to read it. He does not know that those many lines of light are but letters of the alphabet of light, in which the universal one registers his mighty thinking in the universal language of light. The Creator says, I have places for this here. I have places for that here. I have places for that there. Man is just looking through them. And the first thing he comes into contact with is what he reads. And he think it's that. So he think, for some reason, the whole goddamn planet of Saturn is a big-ass ball of gas. Or Jupiter is a big-ass ball of gas. Not that there's gas in the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is thick because the planet is very big. Not that, but that the whole planet, there's no rock down there. Now, it's a rock on every other planet everywhere else. A rock core at the bottom, but it ain't one in Jupiter. See, they haven't learned how to read it yet. The spectrum of iron is taught to man, not but the spectrum of iron. Wait a minute, what did we say there? The spectrum of iron is to man, not the spectrum of iron. To the cosmic import of those many glowing lines, he is indeed blind. Again, in helium, he reads the lines as helium. I'm telling you. I ain't making none of this up. This is in OAHSPE. This man did not know none of that. Light is the universal language in which the divine concept is plainly written. Huh? What? Didn't I just say the exact same thing? And of those most important of elements, which man calls the inert gases, nothing at all is known except that they will not combine with any other elements. Oh, pity of it. Now, he talking about inert gases when they didn't even know none of them. They were just being theorized. Now, every gas that he theorized, they've already found. How did he know? Because this is not guesswork. Wrong concepts of the atom structure, and the modern electric theory of energy and its transmission, of conductivity, radiation and gravitation, and of that electrochemical state of opposed motion called luminosity. Wait a minute. He just said, hold on. He just gave you the cause. He said it's all one force, but then gave you the difference of why they're. Hold on, man. Hold on. Wait a minute. Watch this. Let me show y'all something. Y'all think Cosmon be capping. Hold on. Let me go over here. Let me go up some more. Okay, 1 second, y'all. It's going up. I want y'all to see something. Look what he just said. Now I'm going to go back to what he just said. And then I'm going to show you what OAHSPE said in 1881. This 45 years later, 46 years later. Watch this. Now, notice the man said wrong concepts of the atom structure. Now, mind you, in 1881, they ain't know nothing about atoms. None of that. OAHSPE, the only book in the world talking about atoms. Remember, they called them corpuscles. Right? In 1881. Wasn't no atoms yet. Wasn't no atoms till 13 years later in 1894. Right? But look what it says. Wrong concepts of the atom structure, right? Because the atom is what? is what? Elemental, but not fundamental. Fundamental things can be broken down into their elements. They were wrong on the concept of atoms. They didn't know that the atom had the electron, neutron, proton. They was just finding that out. Wrong concepts of the atom structure and the modern electric theory of energy and its transmission of conductivity, radiation, and gravitation, and of that electrochemical state of opposed motion called luminosity or light. All of these wrong concepts of motion and of matter must be remolded upon truth. Watch this. Look what OAHSPE say. Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. Look what it says. The same principles apply to all the stars, sun, moons, planets. All the stars, suns, planets, and moons. The same principles apply, but different. Why do they differ? And what do they produce? Right? But differing in manifestation on account of size, motion, density, and relative place. So why it produces electricity, why instead of gravity, instead of light, the why in the difference, the why, let me blow this up, in the difference, of radiation and gravitation and light. The difference is the vortex. For the earth floats in the middle of a vortex, the outer extremity of which is somewhat beyond the moon. Nobody knew this till 2019, that the moon was in Earth's atmosphere. The vortex is what? Globular, corresponding to the form of the earth. How he know? With truth comes knowledge, and with knowledge, power to transmute at will. Woo! And simply plentiful substances of matter into those which are the rarest to meet the needs of man. Ooh, wait. All right. Now I wanted to I'm gonna get into some of this later tomorrow, but I wanted to take a look, because remember when I told you there's a certain look, there's a certain lingo, a certain look to what you're talking about when you're doing it right, when you're doing it for the Creator, when you're on point, it look a certain way. And this is the way it's supposed to look, y'all. Vortexian, spiraling motion, expanding and condensing, centrifugal and centripetal, vortexian patterns, producing what? Light, heat, energy, electricity, magnetism, potential, kinetic, what it say? All things are involved in all things. All things are involved in all things. Right? See this compression, the end? See, the vortex, the greatest force of the vortex is at the extremity and pushes inward towards the middle. Right? But we also know there is, and this is called fusion, right? That pressing from the outside is understood as fusion in science. Combining things, pressing them from the outer rims towards the middle. This force is called vortex, right? But the compressing force is called fusion, right? When it expands and it radiates out like E equals MC squared, right? It is a fission. It is the expansion out. E equals MC squared, explaining how radiation radiates from a solid mass, but it doesn't tell you how it get back in. It's got to be pushed back in by what? By the initial motion or vortexian pattern. See, light and sound are one. Gravity, dig this, gravity multiplies, divides, and balances light and sound. Huh? Also, when corporeal material is put in motion, right? Two things are always produced: gravity and light. Through what? Fusion and fission, or the balancing of light and sound. See, OAHSPE goes on to explain to us that there's a method to the madness of the creator. Huh? Remember, in Newton's law of motion, he says in Newton's law of motion that a body in motion tends to stay in motion until acted upon by outside forces, and a body at rest tends to stay at rest till acted upon by outside motion. Well, what starts the initial motion? Explain it to us. Simple. What creates the vortex? Jaja already told you. Right? He told you it's the vortex, right? And on account of the size, of the vortex, the motion of the vortex, the density, and where it's acting upon, is its certain manifestation. And this is happening everywhere. The same principles apply to all the stars, sun, moons, planets. There ain't nowhere that's not happening. It only differs in manifestation because of size, motion, density, and relative place. Right? Now, that, like I was saying, that opening and that closing of not only our atmosphere on our planet, but also that fission and fusion or contracting and or condensing and expanding of our solar system also, right? This great push and pull produces what we call solar wind. You see the spiraling nature produces what is called solar wind. Watch this. Solar wind. Watch this. Solar wind, because of the spin, right, of not only our Earth, right, around the sun, but our solar system. Because of the sun, the solar wind is a constant stream of charged particles, primarily protons and electrons, flowing outward from the sun, impacting planets and other celestial bodies in the solar system. But we know it is doing this. We know the sun is producing fission and fusion, pushing not only the solar winds outward, but energy is going towards the sun. All right. That opening and closing of the spiral constitute the heartbeat of the universe, right? But let me ask y'all a question is. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think the planet is alive? Y'all think the planet is alive? If y'all think the planet is alive, hit me with some trays in the chat. Hit me with some threes. If you think the planet is a living entity, huh? How would you prove it? Anybody could say this is a rock, it's not full of life. You dig what I'm talking about? It's people who, most people would say, motion is the proof of life. You dig what I'm talking about? Nothing that's dead moves, right? But then how would you explain that to a flat earther? Flat earthers say the earth don't move, period. Right? They say it don't move, period. Well, how would you explain that to a flat earther? Well, I would explain it to them like this, right? That if you were alive, right? Watch this. If you were alive, right? One thing that you could prove to anybody, even if they saying the earth is flat, right? And it would be proof that this pulse, this heartbeat of the universe actually exists, right? And it is a living thing in and of itself, right? Anything that is living has a heartbeat. That's one way to prove if your planet is living. So what you saying, Cosmonian? Boy, you must be off some of that kush early in the morning. Huh? You off some of that good pain early in the morning, Cosmon, because I know you're not trying to say that the earth has a heartbeat. Huh? Are you trying to say the earth has a heartbeat, Cosmon? Yes. Yes, I am. Objective proof that this bitch is alive. Huh? Yes. Does the earth have a heartbeat? Yes. Scientists have observed that the earth exhibits a rhythmic heartbeat in the form of regular micro tremors in the earth crust captured by seismic stations worldwide every 26 seconds. Be real. Did you know that? Huh? Did you know the earth had a heartbeat? If you ain't know that, keep it real. Hit me with them foes. Hit me with them foes. That's how you prove to a person that the planet that we living on is alive. Everything that's alive has a heartbeat. In the sense that we know what's alive, Y'all just finding out that the earth had a heartbeat. Hit me with a 4 in the chat. Keep it 100. This is how you prove to anybody, right, that nothing alive comes from the dead. There could be no man on this planet living, animal on this planet living, if the planet itself was dead. Take a look at the moon. It at one time had a breathable, habitable, breathable atmosphere. But when the vortex stops touching onto the face of the planet, right, or hence the breathable part of the air is now higher in the air and not close to the planet, well, the planet is in a sense dead, right? Because no life can come from it, and it doesn't give off a heartbeat every 26 seconds or 2 times a minute. Yes, that's absolutely right. The earth has a heartbeat. She is alive. Right? They say this is the analysis of the harp string. All motion is curved and all curvature is spiral. So is all moving energy. Right on point with OAHSPE, y'all. This is cathode waves. Wind in the cosmic clock centripetally, anode transverse waves unwind it centrifugally. Basically, what she just explained was what I just showed. What she explained, what they're explaining is what I just showed, the solar wind. Hold on, let me show y'all. What she just explained was the solar wind. Remember, this is spinning. The sun is spinning. It's in its own orbit, spinning on its own axis, moving up and down the ecliptic in its own orbit. The sun and the planets follow it. It is called our solar system. But because of the ionic material dumping from the sun like light, right, it produces what is called solar wind and affects all the way out to the edge of the galaxy. All right? That's what they're trying to explain right there. This is what this is playing. Now, when a cathode waves collide at maximum compression points at wave crests or troughs, they are equally balanced by equal expansion and opposite interchanging points. Guess what this is? This is a mechanical wave. But guess what? It not only can produce sound, it can produce what? Light. Guess what they go on to show that this is called? This is called a hertz in sound. Look at the wave. See it? See the red line? They say it's going this way. But look at the blue lines. And everywhere it crosses, vortexian pattern. Vortexian pattern. Vortexian pattern. Vortexian pattern. Vortexian pattern. See what I'm saying? Cathode waves generate heat by multiplying gravity along the cube diameters. Anode transverse waves radiate cold by dividing gravity and returning to a zero via diagonals. This is the constitution of matter. I'm going to blow this up. It says, gravity is the visible evidence of God's existence as creator. Look at that. And controller of matter and motion in his universe of electric thought waves. It says gravity is the power to move. Gravity is the power to move, or I call it gravity is the resistance to motion. I think it try to stop motion. Let me see. Gravity is the power to move, which is extended from the mind of the creator to create thought wave bodies in the image forms of the creator's imaginings. South gravity is that point of the stillness. Stillness is in the universal equilibrium, which is the womb of all birthings and their tomb of rest for their rebirthings. North gravity, breath, something, print where vitality of life deviates towards death. It says the steel mark of the changing gravity of the something of the unchanging of the steel shaft of the unchanging gravity. So I believe, what does that say? Gravity, which means stillness. Yeah, I agree. Right? Gravity means stillness, but gravity, which means, what does that say? Resistance to motion. If y'all see, I know it's hard to see, but right there, y'all see where my thing is? I can't make this up. I swear I didn't look at this. I swear I didn't look at this. What did I just say gravity was to me? What did I just say it was? I said gravity. It says gravity, which means resistance to motion. Wow. Now, dope part is, OAHSPE explains why the greater force at the equator also. It does give us that, you know what I mean? That understanding. And remember that, that like push and pull. It was, hold on. Damn. Hold on. I messed up. Okay, let me go back and let me share this one. Right? And remember that push and pull. Remember, the greatest of the energy is pushing. There is no gravity per se pulling in towards the earth. There's great push towards the earth. And to prove that push, it creates pressure, right? And this is why everywhere around the earth, we have pounds per square inch in the air. Objective proof. I'm not saying nothing that can't be proved to yourself. Look up pounds per square inch. It's the density of the atmosphere everywhere. Well, what's pushing it? You can only get pressure by a push. OAHSPE says, where does it come from? Right? right here, look. The vortex, by its own axial motion, turns the Earth on its axis. Consequently, the outer part of the vortex has greater velocity than near the Earth's surface, which has an axial motion of 1,000 miles an hour. By that axial motion, we are able to prove how wide the Earth is, because it moves and changes from day to day in a 24-hour span. So we know that it's 24,000 kilometers roughly wide, right? If it's moving at 1,000 miles an hour, right? To move a thing that big, it would be that type of speed, right? And it turns it to where you get a full rotation in 24 full hours. Don't sound that fast, do it? It's not, when you're moving something so massive, right? As a matter of fact, you can go from East Coast Central Time, go to West Coast time, and in a sense, you're in the future, right? Because you 2-3 hours from where you've been. Same thing. Let's look at some more of this stuff. But that's why, let's go back. Hold on one second. Let me show you this real quick. Show you that one more time. This right here, the extremity, right? The greatest amount of force. Right? OAHSPE says, why? The vortex, by its own axial motion, turns the Earth on its axis. Consequently, the outer part of the Earth's vortex has greater velocity than the Earth's surface, which has an axial motion of 1,000 miles an hour. Now, also, let's go back, show this. Out here, right, are your more rarefied elements. Down here are your more base and heavy elements. Out here is your more rarefied, refined elements, like plutonium and all this stuff. It's more, it's up here. Out here where the greater force is, and more than it is down here where you have heavy elements like, hydrogen, carbon. You dig what I'm talking about? The basic building blocks of life. While the more refined things out here. Hush up. You dig what I'm saying? One second. All right. So OAHSPE is explaining that. Let's go a little further. Show some stuff. It says solid spheres can occur only where the 6 tetrahedrons of cubes unite as one. It says the drawing shows of the 6 tetrahedron lenses systems which create and maintain gravity-centered spheres. Obviously, all 6 systems are not possible to show on a 2-dimensional diagram. Could he be when he's talking about this system that creates and maintains gravity, is he talking about our atmosphere? Huh? Do we have multiple layers of this atmosphere? These 6 lenses systems are bases for countless billions of lenses systems contained within them. We absolutely know for a fact he's talking about the atmosphere now, because what does OAHSPE say? Let's go. Hold on, let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. What does it say about Earth's atmosphere? Let me show you what OAHSPE got to say about it. The Earth's vortex, or its atmosphere, is what? Concave to the Earth, i.e., follows the curvature of the Earth. Because of the Earth's vortex, even to our outer boundary, more or less follows the same curvature. The total effect is of a convex lens. You think I'll be just making this stuff up? I don't be making none of this up. I just know what I'm talking about. Such bodies do not have photospheres, being in direct line with the master's vortex or the sun's vortex. Their vortices are negative, i.e. receptive to the vortex, so that means you can see through it. That part of the body in night is called Cm vortexia, right? And under these conditions, the manufactured light of another planet's or star's vortex can be seen. This is why you can see the planets. That is, the manufactured light can be seen because the viewer is in the vortexia, or in the atmosphere, the curvature of our atmosphere. It produces a convex lens. So it allows you to see convex and concave. So it brings things very far, close, right? And bring things very, very close, near, and things very near, far. All right. On that portion of the Earth's vortex facing the sun, a lighted lens is thus formed, called daytime. A similar lens, but far larger, is at the center of the sun itself, formed and lit entirely around the sun. It's called a photosphere, wholly enveloping it spherically. It is called the photosphere. The convex faces of the two lenses are always towards each other. They are ethereally connected by solutions of corporeal needles, linear in positions, what we would call today a photon. Let me show y'all what a photon is. Photon. See that amplitude wave line? In the photons and producing light. See, photons is what produce light. Hold on, let me get out of this one. Let me go get a better one. Let me show you what a photon is. Okay. All right, it's pulling up slow. Pulling up a little slow. Well, let me show. All right. What is a photon? Photon is the minute energy packet. Is a minute energy packet of electromagnetic radiation. The concept originated in 1905. How OAHSPE talking about this in 1881. Earlier, 1900, German physicist Max Planck had prepared the way for the concept, explaining the heat radiation emitted and absorbed by distinct units or quanta. The concept came to general use after the U.S. physicist Arthur H. Compton demonstrated in 1923 the corpuscular nature of X-rays. This is what they was calling atoms, corpuscles. Huh? Look, the term photon wasn't start using until 1926, the same year we reading out of the book right now. The energy of photon depends on the radiation frequency. They are photons of all energies, of high energy gamma, X-rays through visible light to low energy infrared radio waves. Told you. Right? Now, I ain't going to keep it long, and we're going to go ahead cook up out of here with this OAHSPE real quick. Right? This is from the Book of Discipline. 33, Book of Discipline, 5 and 9. Right? And we're going to go and get up out of here, close it up. Walter Russell, right on point. Let all things be proved or supported by corresponding testimony known to be true. As the holy man perceives how things should be in the heavens above, so they are. The unholy man sees heavenly things only dimly. He binds himself in the ancient revelations, which have become corrupted, like the Tanakh, like the Levitical doctrine, like Hebrewism, like Buddhism, Brahmanism, Confucianism. They have all become corrupted. The Creator, Yahweh, is as near this day as in the time of the ancients. Put yourself in order. Get your shit together. Becoming one with him. And no book, not no Tanakh, not no OAHSPE, not no nothing, not no Book of the Mormons, not no Book of the Dead. It's so easily read as his created universe. Inspiration comes less by books than what the Creator wrote, his worlds. Remember they told you that it's lit up, the signs is lit up just like the Lincoln Freeway? Well, what is the signs? His worlds. And he said, read them, read him and his works. Frame your speech and your thoughts for him, and he will answer you in your behavior and in your happiness of your soul. Great wisdom cannot be attained in a day, nor purity and strength to overcome temptation, till growth is from the foundation. The fool will say, let me tell you what the fool gonna say. The fool will say, the sacred books are no more than what man of his own knowledge could write. Yet, this Negro has not wisely imitated the power or the words of your God. And with that, this is Jehovah Chronicles, number 225. The Universal One. Hold on. Yep. That's the universal one. Yeah, you see that serpent out there? How it be moving up and down like that? You dig what I'm talking about? All light moving mechanically the same way. You dig what I'm saying? Moving mechanically. You know? Nobody's making this stuff up, man. This stuff is objective. It's out here in nature. Watch this. Look how the photon moves. Watch this. Talking about that great serpent, right? See, La? Look how the photon, it moved by itself. This is light. This is what light looks like, y'all. Guess what else moves in that pattern? Your whole solar system, your sun, and your planets. All of it in motion. Up and down, oscillating. Below and above the galactic ecliptic. Look it up. I ain't got time. You dig what I'm saying? But look at it. We ain't making none of this up. This is a photon. Look how it moves. Like a serpent. Huh? Whole galaxy is called the Great Serpent because of its movement in the same way. Let me see. I got something up here. Let me see something. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hush. Hush. I said hush. Nah. As always, hope y'all got something up out of this. You dig what I'm talking about? Hopefully everything work out for y'all, man, today. Always stay blessed up. You dig what I'm talking about? Do the right thing when ain't nobody looking, man, and try to do some of that good work for somebody else, man. Eat you a couple fruits and veggies, and that's the whole law. Huh? Eat you a couple fruits and veggies, do something good for somebody else. That's it. Ain't nothing else to it. Huh? And you in line with the Creator. Time to get yourself in order, didn't he say? Didn't he say it's time to get yourself in order? Huh? Well, hopefully you got something out of this, and if you did, hit me with a 5 in the chat. Hit me with a 5 in the chat. As a matter of fact, no. Since I need you to breathe in, let that light in, hit me with some of these super 7s in the chat. Let me get some of these super 7s cracking around here, man. If y'all got something good up out of this message. You did what I'm talking about. Share the live out. You did what I'm talking about. Don't worry about it. If you can explain it, I can explain it. Huh? They got something they want, a question they want to ask or anything, point them in my direction. Huh? I got more answers than I got questions. You dig what I'm talking about? And that's in the way of God's. Huh? All I need you to do is breathe in and let that light in, because I'm Cosmon and I'm out.
And oh yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh, just that job theft, that chow mein, that pepper bull, that towel main, since sunset in the arc of Wayne. My brain moving like Tao saying, so ass above, it's so below, that up there, that down thing. This flow is atmospheric. I call that a ground game. See, water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning. So how your God make a sun without vortexing current? See, the pattern is panic. I'm reaching out for my people. OAHSPE flow to your speakers. You feel the force of the ether. And when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing political. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sela. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door star. And the first million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahu when it's now an ennui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. OAHSPE flow is so potent, set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you make it Salah. Well, I'm an Israelite, I'ma make you met the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith is so yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah.